Okay, welcome to a presentation talking through marketing your clinic. And this is based on the 10 to 15 years that I have been running a clinic, but also in the team that I've been working in. I've been working with Claire and Tracy, and we've had a number of other practitioners who have been part of our team. And it's definitely been a learning experience marketing a clinic. So I think you may know that I come from a marketing background originally. It's what I did my degree in the 90s, can you believe? Where before the internet, that's what I did my marketing degree. And so I understood the concept of marketing, but when I actually started my own clinic, that is when it really became very, very real for me. It's really different investing thousands of pounds of someone else's money into something and investing your own money and your own heart and soul into something. And I actually do think that it takes a special kind of person to get a health clinic, an alternative health clinic off the ground and to be running successfully. And I'm excited to talk you through this. I'm excited to share with you all the learning that we have gone through. We have tried so many different approaches and we have been successful in our clinics, in our own unique ways, because we all had different objectives when we started our clinics. And I'm going to talk through how we can take those objectives and apply them to your clinic, because each one of us wants something different. If it's financial or emotional, or we want to reduce the amount we work or work more or whatever. And so that's a big question mark that we do need to look at. So this It's a very happy skippy photo of me and Claire in a wood. This was 10 years ago, actually 2010, I think it was, even more. And this was at the beginning of my clinic journey. Look how terrified, but also very happy I am to be doing this work. It is the best job in the world. And it is, even 10, 15 years on, I am still deeply excited about the work I do. I'm still learning, which I don't know any other job that really provides that kind of experience. But the talk I'm going to be going through, this does support the Business Marketing Mastery course and module that we have within our training school. So it's really useful cross-referencing this information with the information in that course. So let's start with the very first thing that you need to be doing and thinking about when you're starting your clinic is, what do you want to achieve? What does good look like for you? So in my experience, I wanted to work, I think in the beginning I wanted to work 3 days a week. And I did get up to 3 days a week, particularly when we went for a big expansion plan. I was working in a wellness center and I was seeing a lot of clients. And 3 days a week, it's good. You can do 3 days a week. It's entirely up to you. I think people do come into this with an attitude of, well, I need to work 5 days a week. I often question that because I don't think you necessarily need to. It's quite an intensive job, coaching someone, working with their emotional stuff if you are doing that. If you're working in kinesiology, it can be quite physical. If you're working with something like massage or physio, it can be a very physical, emotionally draining job. So actually, and it doesn't require you to work 5 days a week. So I always encourage people when they first start looking at this is to become a little bit more open-minded, because what we will do is look at pricing. And so that needs to come back to this original question of, what does good look like to you? How much income do you want to make? How much income would you like to make? How much do you need to make? Getting really clear on these figures and getting them written down. So like I said, this talk it supports the Business Marketing Mastery course. There are documents in that course of how you can start getting this down onto paper. How much money do I want to earn? How much money do I need to earn? And then it's about setting these expectations of how long these things are going to take. And you can, when you figure out how much income and you figured out your price, and in the Business Marketing Mastery, we look at price in more detail, where you look at your competition and you also look at how much experience you've got, and pitch yourself in the market. Once you understand how much income you need, you will know your price. you'll be able to work out how many customers you need. And what does good look like? So for me, clinic was a part of my business. So I started off pretty early on wanting to be a teacher, wanting to run a nutrition business. We also ran a franchise business. So we had lots of different income streams where clinic was a part of it. So again, your objectives might be different. You might be looking at your clinic being your sole income. Now, the thing I would recommend to think about with that is the clinic is a really interesting beast where there is change that happens. And the change that happens can be reflected in how you are feeling. If you are in a really good place, and this has been my experience, my clinic gets full. People are just attracted to the high energy that I'm putting out. I've got capacity to see people. I've got capacity to hold space for them. They book in. If I'm not in a great place, and this is what is different from this career to other careers, if I'm not in a good place and I don't feel that I can hold space for people, then it does tend to get quieter. There's also important things to note is what are seasonalities. So if it gets, for my business, I've always gone quiet around December, got busier in January. So as people get Christmassy, they don't tend to want to be told how to change their diet. But in the new year, people go, oh my God, I've eaten too much at Christmas. I really need support. So it's the same with the summer. Everybody goes on holiday in August and my clinic gets quieter, gives me an opportunity to take holiday myself. And then it gets more busy in September. So it's well worth in your first year of trading is to start to monitor when do things get busier, when do things get quieter. And it can be a really good exercise to monitor that and to get this down on paper, because I had a feel for it, but until I actually saw the numbers, it was just something that was in my head. I needed that clarity. So you've got your objectives. This is where I want to go. And this is where we want to create a strategy. And I know when I first got into business and marketing, the word strategy terrified me, but it's really simple. It is the gap between where you are now and where you want to be and how you're going to get there. So this, again, I would get this on a piece of paper. There are templates in Business Marketing Mastery where you're right, this is where I am, this is how many clients I'm seeing now. If you are new to this, you might be having a few case studies, but you're not yet charging. But where you want to be is you want to be charging £75 an hour, £100 an hour, whatever it is, £20 an hour, whatever it is, and you want to be seeing this number of clients. So now the trick is, what needs to happen in the middle to be able to get you to that place? We start off with planning. Before we get into marketing, something I have seen, even in the biggest companies, is that people can be very, very quick to, we need a newsletter. And what I always go to is, we need to rewind. We need to have the plans in place. We need to have an understanding of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to communicate and where we're trying to communicate before we start going, right, I must have a Facebook page, or I must have a newsletter, or I must do a poster, or I must do a leaflet. How do you know until you've done the planning? Now, I want you to sit down and think about how you are unique. Now, if you're a bit blind to this, what can really, really help is asking people who have come to see you as case studies. What have they enjoyed? What have they found has been really helpful? And also with your uniqueness, if you've been studying with us, then your uniqueness is likely to be specializing in hormones or menopause or stress or digestion or immune system or emotional coaching, because that is what we have specialized in and that is what we offer in the college. So getting this list down of what makes you unique so that you can communicate this. The next thing to do is to go and look at your competition. Go and look at people who are therapists who are in the same field as you and therapists who are in the same area as you. If you are a remote therapist, so that you work on Zoom, then you could be looking at the whole of the UK. If you are, say, a kinesiologist or a more of a physical therapist and you're working in an area, say Hampshire, look around for therapists. You can just Google it. a therapist in Hampshire, and go and have a look and make a map of it. Okay, this woman, Tracy, she's specializing in pain and physical illnesses or ailments. She says this, this, and this. And so you scribble that down on a piece of paper, and then you go and have a look at the next one. So you get this understanding of this map of what people are offering and see if you can find a little gap. Now, competition, we're going to talk about partnerships a little bit later in this presentation, but I'm a big, big fan of collaboration and not just seeing someone as competition. I think that there are enough customers and enough ill people in the world for us to share. And actually, you know, Claire, Tracy, and I all worked out of the same clinic. We all had enough clients. And because we were part of a team, we actually grew our business more than if we were just in competition with each other. Your customer, now you may have an understanding of who your customer is. Maybe it's women, maybe it's menopausal women, maybe it's teenagers. Get an idea of who your customer is. And this may be the case studies that are attracted to come in working with you, or you see where the opportunity is. And I can recommend going to do a little bit of research. So going and have a few questions, go and interview them. Maybe 5 to 10 people who are in your target audience, and go and find out what their problems are and how they describe it. Because one of the most powerful things you can do in marketing is using the language of your customer. And it can be eye-opening. I know when we first did this, we had this we actually did the research with practitioners and kinesiologists, and we found that a lot of kinesiologists didn't feel brave enough to actually go into clinic. They loved their training and their education, but they weren't brave enough to actually take that step and make a clinic work. And that is how our franchise offering was born, is because we saw an opportunity that we didn't know was there until we went and did the research. So go and find what is your customer's problems, and then that will give you a really good idea of how you can solve them. Understanding the emotion behind why customers buy things. There's a big chapter in this in Business Marketing Mastery course. It's something I'm really excited about. When I first got into marketing, I found it a little bit businessy, ordinary, I suppose. And then when they started bringing psychology into it, sort of mid-noughties, psychology started to come into marketing in a big way, understanding these unconscious emotions of why people buy things. This is when marketing got super interesting for me. So if you're interested in understanding more about what is the psychology of why people will buy from you, go and check out that module. Your price. I've spoken a little bit about this, but and again, there's a module in the course for you to go and check out. But this is looking at your competition and your experience, and also how much you want to earn. So we do recommend, if you're new to this, maybe going for the lower price to start with, because you don't want to outprice yourself and you want to get more experience. Don't cheapen yourself and know your value, but don't make yourself very expensive until you get more experience and more confidence in what you're doing. Because the name of the game in the beginning is just to see lots and lots of clients to get your experience up. Write all of this down. If you need templates, it's in the course. Okay, so this is the process of what you're looking at from a marketing and sales perspective. So we are going to start looking at advertising, digital, social media, and partnerships, which is kind of the cold, hard end of marketing. This is the more impersonal side. This is where you're trying to get your quantity. You're trying to reach as many people as possible. Not everybody's going to be interested. That's okay. You're going to just have to get in front of people. That's the beginning of marketing. And through that advertising, digital, social, and partnerships, you are going to be promoting events or face-to-face, or building your inquiries so they actually have interaction with you, where you're able to move into the sales part. I'm going to do a little bit of talking around sales, because getting comfortable with sales, if you're running your own business, most people want to cringe inside. But I tell you what, when you really understand what sales can do for your business, and you can fall in love with sales, it will make a tremendous difference. So I'll cover that more in more detail later. And then we have retention. It is, I'm going to go into more detail about retention. It is an important part of marketing that many people miss out on. And because you are possibly watching this and just starting out running your clinic, and you don't have many clients, you're not thinking about this, but it is really worth becoming mindful of your retention, because repeat business is where it's at for many therapists. Okay, let's have a look at website. Getting a good website design, we work with WordPress primarily, and I do a lot of the back end myself. If I can recommend getting familiar with doing websites, basic websites by yourself, getting a good website designer to do the initial build, but then you have the back end so that you can actually change the website as you learn, as you change, as you grow, and having lots of images and videos. So one of the things that we've got with our websites is lots and lots of YouTube videos that we've pulled from our YouTube channel. Now, we are in education, and in as such, if you are running a clinic, you are in education too. And I think YouTube can be an amazing media for marketing a clinic. And so just having these two connected, having your socials and your posts and your videos that are pulled from different medias into your website makes it very rich, really colorful, really interesting, and it's also great for search engine optimization. So this is what SEO is, search engine optimization and keywords. It's not too complicated. It is really worth doing. Our website designer in the beginning never taught us this, and it was such a missed opportunity. I wish someone had told me this in the beginning. SEO on the back end of your website, you can scroll through. This is what it's like on WordPress anyway. You scroll down to the bottom, and if you can have something called Yoast, which is a plugin that goes into the website, and it gives you the opportunity to write copy about that web page for Google, for the search engines, and you put your keywords in there. Keywords are what people are looking for. And when we first started our clinical practice, we were known as the alternative health experts. Learning has shown us that nobody is looking for alternative health experts. That was quite an eye-opener. People are looking for coaches. They're looking for menopause coaches. They're looking for kinesiologists. They're looking for nutritionists. Get really clear on what people are searching for, and they want to find you. And so things like kinesiology in Hampshire was a really key search term for us, and so we made sure that we had that search term on each of our pages. We had copy about it. It was in our titles, so that Google could find us and put us high up on that first page in Google. Really, really important. When you start your clinical practice, have Google My Business, set that up. Need any help, please send us an email. We can help you, guide you with how that works. The more that you can put information into Google, the better. The more people can find you. Google do kind of run the world, which is a bit unfortunate, but we can use it to our advantage. There's a little bit about brand names in the Business Marketing Mastery course. I'm a big fan of using your name as a clinician. If you are setting up your practice, people will refer to you. So you must go and see Laura, for example. And so owning the name Laura Knowles on the internet was important for me, so people could find me. Now, we work as a team, so that is when creating a brand name for a team. Our clinic name is Balanced Wellness, and we've got 3 members, and we've got some more members joining. So that makes more sense to have a brand name that is looking after a community of practitioners. But I can recommend that if you are going it alone, own your name. Copywriting, if you've done that consumer research, if you've been talking to your clients and understanding what their problems are, and you've been writing it down, use that language and name their problems. And how do you solve it? Now, one of the things that we have to be mindful of in the health industry is the Advertising Standards Agency can come hard down onto alternative health practitioners about some of the language we use. We don't talk about healing. We don't talk about curing. We don't use any of that language. We are very passionate about standing up to the Advertising Standards Agency, about limiting what we can say, because we do work with people who have issues. We don't necessarily work with conditions, we don't treat conditions, but we do work with people who are looking for support with autoimmune, with menopause. And we do push back on the Advertising Standards Agency, but just be mindful of the language that you're using. And again, you can reach out and get our support with that. Your governing body should also be able to help you with that. How do you solve their problem? It is great to write in an informal, friendly, yet professional way on your website. So I see more and more websites are less formal and more talking from a one-to-one perspective. So when you're reading it, it almost sounds a bit conversational. And that can be very warming and approachable for clients. I really recommend call to actions on all of your web pages. This is either leading them to go and have a look at your offering, or to be booking in, or to download a free talk, or to get a free, I don't know, PDF, or whatever it is. Getting people who are on your website to give you their details is really, really important for growing a database a warm database that you can market to. This has taken us so long to learn, I have to say. It's something we really, really resisted. And now that we've finally done it, we can see the benefits are paying off. I can recommend whenever a client asks you a question about how you work, write it down and have it on your website as a frequently asked question, for example. And be mindful of the questions that your clients ask you on repeat. If you find yourself repeating yourself, that is the information that needs to go on your website or can go on a newsletter, because these are the things that people are asking for. Let's have a look at social media. Choose your media for your audience and the style of marketing that you want to work with. So Facebook tends to be older, Instagram tends to be younger. We see more interaction with Instagram, even though we do target an older target audience because we specialize in things like menopause, but we find Facebook and Instagram both are very useful for us. What we use social media for is mainly two things. We use it to get in front of people using advertising, and I hope I talk a little bit more about that. And when people discover us and they like us, maybe if they're thinking about training, we sit in the background, and so each time they're on social media and they see a post from us, we're that gentle reminder of what we do, and then we see that people buy from us. So from a clinical perspective, you can use social media to go and find your customers, and then when you found them, you can keep in the front of their mind, reminding them of the things that you do, and giving them offers or reasons to come and visit you. Hashtags are good for Instagram. I would limit it to 3. That's the recommendation that is advised. Twitter, I have found, this is from my personal experience, I have found it good for connections. So this is something that I did, this is way back when I was working in marketing. I actually got brand endorsement from 2 celebrity chefs for a chocolate company that I was working with. And that was through Twitter. I literally just approached someone, an influencer. These were 2 chefs, and said, this is who we are. We would love to work with you. And they worked with us for free because we were an ethical chocolate brand. And so if you want to get in front of certain people, I think Twitter can be amazing for that. LinkedIn, if you are interested in any of the corporate wellness work, I think LinkedIn can be really, really good for this, getting in front of people and getting that message out. That's what we tend to use LinkedIn for. I love YouTube. We're starting to do more and more with YouTube because we see that, and this is particularly for our college, but the message that we get on repeat is, I have watched everything you make and I love what you do. There is something around people in their spare time watching videos about education, and if you've got a number of videos that you have produced and you're personable and you're enjoying it, then people will enjoy watching you present your information. So YouTube, I love it. And the interesting thing with YouTube, second largest search engine behind Google. It is huge. Google My Business, you can post to Google My Business, which is just like any other social media. We do that because we want to get on the front pages of Google. So that is the main driver for why we do that. Now, I find going on to different platforms and having to post the same thing or different things on each platform a bit of an admin minefield. And so I can recommend that you use one platform, something like Hootsuite or Sendable. I use Sendable. I really love it. It's a bit pricey, but I can get all of my Google My Business, YouTube, LinkedIn, blog, Instagram, Facebook. I've got it for our clinic as well as our teaching school, all in one place. I can do my posts there and then. I do it once a month and then it's done. And so I schedule all of it onto a calendar that is available on Sendable. So that is something that really works for me. We also use Canva. If you want to make your posts really pretty, Canva can be a really great way of doing it. You can logo things up, you can use images. I think it's really professional to get, if you're starting out, is to get some professional photography done of yourself in situ. When I look back at the photo shoots that we've done, and we love a photo shoot, do we, me and Claire, the photo shoots that we use the most are the ones of us in clinic. The social media content, some ideas that you can use, getting testimonies. We used to be typically rubbish at getting testimonies. And it was such a missed opportunity because when people came into our clinics and when people came into our courses, they loved what we did and they used to, sing about how wonderful we were, and we never captured that. So we now have a Trustpilot account, and we also have a YouTube a little profile, a folder, that's the word I'm thinking of, with videos of testimonies from all of our students and our clients. And it's such a lovely database to collect, and it is such a lovely thing to share on social media. Share your news, share your events, share what you do, share why you're unique. Make sure you put keywords in, you can put hashtags in there, share your success stories. Keep it abreast of the news, because there's always interesting things about nutrition or health or hormones going on in the news, especially menopause. That seems to be really newsworthy right now, and you can share those and put your spin on it. And personal stories, if any of your clients are happy to share any of their personal stories. I would recommend doing that in the beginning, is when you're doing your case studies, say that you are happy to do the case study for free in exchange for a testimony and a personal success story. And then you can start to build that up on your website and build it up on your social media. It makes really lovely reading and very, very personable. Social media advertising, I like it. We're having a good time with it. Back in the day, I'd say 5 years ago, I found Facebook advertising incredibly complicated, but they've really simplified it. And what I love about it is you can get really, really targeted, and it can be very cost effective. So for example, we are doing a campaign at the moment on Facebook and Instagram, and we are doing it in the areas that we have our kinesiology courses. So that is Somerset, Hampshire and London. And we are able to target those areas in particular. And we are targeting therapists who already work within alternative health. So we are with acupuncturists, physios, yoga teachers, Pilates instructors, massage therapists, that kind of target audience. Our campaign is giving them access to free kinesiology learning. We've got a little free kinesiology course that we've created. And what we do is we ask them for their details, they sign up, they get access to the course, and then we've got a warm database to market to each time we have a new course. Really, really targeted. To give you an idea, it has cost us about £10. We have had 20 sign-ups and we've had about 80 clicks. So that's to give you an idea. I think that is really good value for money. I'm delighted with that. And now I've got some people that I can talk to. I recommend that your social media advertising, that you do promote something for free. Get them into your database. Don't just start selling to them. Give them a reason to engage with you. It's a really lovely way to start, and then you can build that relationship before you start selling. And you can, once you've got them into a database, so we have Kajabi is our database, but that is mainly because it's a teaching platform. I know that we've got a list in the Business Marketing Mastery course of different platforms that you can database capture into. I know MailChimp's a really big one that we did used to work with in the past, and it's quite easy to use. So then when you get them into your database, you can set up an automatic email chain, which talks about what you do, gives them more freebies, maybe sends them to some videos, and then you can really nurture them, maybe invite them to an event, etc., before you offer to actually get them into your clinic. I love partnerships and networking. I really recommend that you go and find practitioners in the health industry, maybe in your local area. And I did this. There was actually a kinesiologist up the road. Now, she was a very different kinesiologist to me. I was much more structural, physical, nutritional. She was more energetic. We met up. We became friends. She sent me all of her clients for nutrition work. It was a wonderful start to my practice. So even though we were essentially in the same therapy, that collaboration really kick-started my clinic. Other opportunities to explore is going and meeting hairdressers, or getting hairdressers to come and have a free taster, or giving them something so that they get to learn what you're about. Hairdressers are great at talking. They have a captive audience in their salons, and if they have a good experience with you, then they can recommend you. So I know a number of practitioners who have really done very well out of hairdressers. Collaboration, not competition. I love it. When you approach people to be partners, go in for the what's in it for them. You know, this is what I'd like to offer you. I'd love to show you what I do. Would you be willing to meet for a coffee? What's in it for them? And then when you build that relationship, then you can ask what's in it for you and have that partnership. You can also set up an affiliate scheme or a recommend a friend, which is if they recommend someone to you, then maybe they get a little reward. I found that maybe they like a discount off their next session. That tends to be something that people really respond well to. And it was something that Claire did at the beginning of her practice, that really, that word of mouth, really nurture that. That can be a great thing to do. Events. So there's two things that you can focus on. Finding events for you to attend and to present at. That's the nice, easy one. And we often do that. We are often presenting in our governing bodies, for example, or local events that are specializing in health, or women's events, or exhibitions. We spend quite a bit of time looking for events, not during COVID. After COVID, now the events are opening back up again. Then I can really recommend local events that you can go and speak at. And the more that you can get comfortable talking in public, it was something that terrified me. I can't even begin to tell you how anxious public speaking used to make me feel. And I knew I had to overcome it if I was going to grow my clinic. And I remember the day that I was able to stand up. It was a networking event. I did a talk on the endocrine. Anybody who is studying a practitioner diploma with us has access to this talk. And I got 8 people from that talk book into my clinic. I did a special offer, a 30-minute session for a discounted price. I don't like giving away stuff for free because they don't value it, but giving them a really killer offer on the back end of a talk so they book in, I can really recommend. And those 8 clients, they were women that were well connected. Many of them rebooked, they became regular clients, and then they started to recommend me. So I knew that getting good at talks, and who knew that actually public speaking was going to be something that I enjoy as much as I do now. So then you can also create your own events. If you do, then you can promote them through Facebook advertising. Like I said, you can do specific targeted advertising in your area. So that's the great thing about doing Facebook advertising, as well as being able to, there's a button on Facebook that says, I want to do this on Instagram as well, which is great. You can also post it to Eventbrite, because Eventbrite has lots and lots of different events that people search for in their local area, so you can get picked up. Local e-boards or notice boards that you can promote on. I recommend charging for tickets, even if it's just £5 or £10 if you can stretch to it. It just means that you know numbers, and you also get a little bit of payback from doing it, for maybe renting the space or whatever it is. And then people value it more. I think charging for tickets is a good idea when it comes to events. Have a killer offer when you have your prospects in the room. Like I said, I had a 30-minute, come and have a taste of a 30 minutes. I think it was for £20 back in the day, or £30. And you want them booking up there and then when they are in the room and they're feeling your energy. And it's, you want them to be making a purchasing decision there and then. And if they don't book in, make sure you follow up with maybe an email, touching base. What did they think? You're really interested? Do they want to do any testimonies, etc., etc.? Sales is a big lesson. I do a video on this as well in the Business Marketing Mastery course. I can recommend getting really comfortable discussing money and asking for money and knowing your worth and being able to close that sale. Now, people don't like being sold to, so we want to get out of that mindset. Whenever you are going into an opportunity where you think that you are going to turn someone into a client, go in asking questions first. You want to listen to where they are and what they want, and then you make an offer to them. You don't go in with this is what I do and this is how much I charge and do you want to book in, and asking for the business. You go in. So if I get any inquiries into my business, the first thing I do is ask, okay, how can I help? Get them to start talking, and then when I am making the offer, I'm using their language back to them so they feel that they've been listened to. That's the beginning of a relationship. The trouble with sales is when we are being sold to, something is happening to us. Excellent sales is when we've got that relationship is built up. So scrap the traditional idea of what sales is all about and create this new understanding that it's about a relationship that you are creating. And be the leader. They are coming to you saying, I've got this, this, and this. What do you recommend? Make that recommendation. Instead of going, well, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this. Go in with I've heard what you said. My recommendation is that you come in for a first appointment, and I would recommend booking another appointment after that, because I want to see how these changes are going to sit. Maybe they need to have 3 months worth of appointments. I want to see you for 3 months to be able to get, because what you've said is that you want to get underneath this issue. If it's a big issue, that's going to take a little bit of time. Being really clear with them, setting your expectations, be the leader when it comes to sales. Retention is a gorgeous picture of Tracy. Retention. I've got a load of stats here actually. Existing customers are 50% more likely to buy something new from you. Existing customers spend 31% more with you. Acquiring a new customer costs 5 times compared with retaining an existing. Increasing customer retention by 5% can increase profits by 95%. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? The success rate of selling to a customer you already have is 60 to 70%, while the success rate of selling to a new customer is 5 to 20%. So the whole point of downloading lots of figures onto you is making sure that you understand that once you've got that customer who has fallen in love with you, they are the ones, it's going to be so much easier for them to keep buying from you. With retention, you can have a little loyalty scheme. This can be, you can do a collection, a package. If you buy a certain amount of appointments, then you receive a supplement, or you receive an extra appointment, an appointment for free, or whatever it is. You can do exclusive events, invites to events, or discounts or special offers that only they have access to. Maybe they get the priority appointments that you have available. I used to work on a Saturday and also on a Friday, but my Saturday was more of a priority for most people. So my best customers got those appointments first. And I mean, absolutely get those client testimonies. As soon as you get those client successes where they are saying, oh my God, I feel so much better, you can say, it would really, really help me if you could do me a client testimony. Can you send me a video that you can put onto YouTube? And can you send me some words, or do me on Trustpilot, or whatever it is, or make a recommendation on Facebook if you've got a Facebook page. And what is important with any kind of marketing is that you review and improve. Again, I have seen this in the biggest of businesses make these mistakes. Do more of what is working, less of what isn't. So each month you want to review, what did Facebook advertising bring me back? Okay, I managed to get this amount of leads, which converted to this amount of sales. Yes, I'm happy with that. I'm going to keep doing it. No, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to change it. Maybe I'm going to try a different medium, a different message. Keep evolving, keep changing. If you are starting out in your clinic, you may have an understanding of who you want to work with, who your customer is. When you actually get into clinical practice, you may find that that changes. When we started, immune was not my speciality and menopause was not Claire's. It was something that evolved with time as we grew as practitioners and as audiences started coming to us, with customers started coming to us. I recommend that you try everything for a minimum, a maximum of 3 months with that open mind. If it's not working after 3 months, please change it. Don't keep doing what isn't working. And I want to say about clinic management, I think professionalism is one of the most important things you can have from a marketing perspective. And I would automate wherever you can so that you spend your time on what is important. So that is maybe making videos or making content or seeing your clients. It's thinking about your time is you kind of want to be thinking 50% of the time I want to be bringing business in, 50% of the time I want to be delivering on the business that I have. Now, if you're starting out in clinic, you're going to be spending 100% of your time bringing customers in. But as you grow, as your clinic grows, you want to be making sure that you are spending time bringing business in and you're spending time delivering on that business. That can be time consuming. So the more you can automate your clinic appointments, your reminders, the booking process, forms, any pre-appointment information, automating your newsletters, automating your marketing, automating your social media. I spend 1 day a month where I do my social media posts and then it's done, rather than having to do it daily, which can be time consuming and a bit frustrating. And when I get busy, then it just drops off. So I need to have it as a rock in my diary. I think that is the end of that talk. That is marketing and promoting your clinic. And it's been a pleasure talking you through it.